98 FM. Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. It is Thursday, the 16th of April 2020. A little bit later on, we're going to be talking to some Debenhams workers. This is a story that may have bypassed some of you because we're all consuming so much different news and whatever. But the announcement last week that Debenhams here in Ireland is to close, affecting almost 2,000 workers, 11 stores here in the Republic, and they're to enter liquidation. We'll be talking to staff members a little bit later on the programme. But first off today, we like to do this every day. And I want to talk to you about things that have changed for the better since we entered lockdown. Okay? Things that have changed for the better since lockdown. Now, this can be something really small in your life, but it's actually something good. Obviously, we all have our worries, our fears about jobs and everything else. But I want to talk to you. I want you to send me a WhatsApp voice note right now with that one little thing that has changed for the better since lockdown. So send me a WhatsApp voice note right now to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. Tell me that one little thing that has changed for the better as a result of us being in lockdown. So for me, for example, the one thing that has changed for the better is that our garden has never looked better, because I'm literally out in it every afternoon and have been for the last couple of weeks. So the one thing that has changed for the better for me is that I've had a lot more available time to me, obviously, because we're not going out anywhere. We're as soon as I finish work here, I go straight back home and stay at home then for the remainder of the day. So I've a lot of time. And I'm using that time in the garden. Now, it has made me think that really I should have set aside more time in the garden before now. And Jeremy is in another part of our building, and he's distanced from me. And
I saw the photograph you put up. Was it Instagram? You put it up on something. Your garden looks like the Paris Court Gardens at the moment. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's looking well, and I have done a lot of work in it over the last couple of weeks.
Which a very impressive rose bush, by the way.
Thank you.
Very impressive.
So for you, Mr. Dixon, what is that one little thing that has changed for the better since lockdown?
It's not a little thing, it's a big thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's me gut.
Oh, right. But you're eating better.
I am eating, I don't know about other people, I'm eating so much better, and I'll tell you why. Because 2 weeks ago, or it's nearly 3 weeks ago now, Ronald McDonald decided to close his stores. Now, as you know, Adrian, my vice in life, my weakness, if you will, I have very few weaknesses, but my one weakness in life is McDonald's. I go once, maybe twice a week. It's a thing I do. And since Ronald McDonald closed up shop, I haven't had a McDonald's in coming up on 3 weeks now. And I stepped on the scales yesterday in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Expecting it to crack and break all over the floor. And my weight is actually down. I'm eating healthier.
Right. So,
and I assume you are as well. I mean, you normally eat out 7 days a week. You're actually cooking at home now.
We don't eat 7 days a week. We would eat out a couple of times a week, but we're cooking at home every day, and that is one good thing, I suppose. And we're sharing the cooking out.
I'd say when you turned on your cooker there a few weeks ago, the cooker was like, "Sorry, who are you? Or do I know you?"
Something like that. Yeah,
what are you doing?
But yeah, that's the one thing that has improved. So I want you to send me a WhatsApp voice note right now to 0877 98 98 98. 0877 98 98 98. What is that one little thing that has changed for the better since lockdown? Okay? So for me, it's our garden has never looked better. I've spent a lot of time in it. For Jeremy, it's that he's actually eating better because he's not shoveling McDonald's into his gob.
It could be as well your relationship with your children. I know I've really bonded with my young fella in the last 3 weeks in a way which I probably didn't do before, because we've a lot more time. Every evening we have a routine. We go out to the field for an hour and we play frisbee and kick football, and the field is full of parents and their kids doing that. And I don't think that would be happening if we didn't have lockdown.
No, it probably wouldn't. Although we have had nice weather, so it might have happened a little bit more, but not as much as you're seeing at the minute.
No, but I think family time has improved, hasn't it?
It has, yeah, definitely, 100%.
Now, if only I could bring my son to McDonald's this evening, we'd be sorted.
All right, keep them coming in. 0877 98 98 98. I want to hear from you that one little thing. Obviously, this whole lockdown thing is very difficult on all of us, but I'm looking for the slight little positives that may be there, okay? The slight little positives that may be there that are making... It's just that one little thing that is a little bit better since lockdown. Send me a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98, or send us or call us on 6797 981. This is from Connor.
Hi, Jeremy. I'd say the one thing that's changed for the better for us is no commuting, no buying lunches, no Friday treats, stuff like that. We're saving a few more bob, which is good, and thankfully I am still in work at the moment, working remote from home. So I suppose every cloud there is a little bit of a silver lining.
All right, Connor, thank you very much indeed. Send us a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. I'm looking for that little thing that has changed for the better since lockdown. For you personally, not for everybody, but for you personally. 0877 98 98 98. Lorraine, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Lorraine.
Hi, Adrian.
Lorraine, what is that one little thing that has changed for the better?
My husband's cooking, thank God.
Oh, really?
Well, it couldn't have got much worse.
Right, so he has a bit more time, so he's making a bit more effort.
Yeah, breakfasts, lunches, trying the whole lot.
So give me an idea of, what has he most surprised you with?
Oh, God, all he could do beforehand was a boiled egg, so anything was a bonus.
So he's gone past a boiled egg.
Yeah, we're getting poached eggs with feta cheese and spinach and the whole lot. It's going all out.
So the point being that he was always able to do it, he just never bothered his arse, is that it?
Well, he said he doesn't like to take his own food, doesn't taste as nice as when it's handed to him.
Well, that's true. It never does. It never does. But
no.
But you've seen a marked improvement in his cooking.
Oh, definitely, yeah. Long may it last.
That's fantastic. That's good to hear, Lorraine. And, well, long may it last after all this is over. Will he keep it up?
Well, he won't have a choice.
Excellent. Because he's walked himself into proving that he's actually able to do it.
That's it, exactly, yeah.
Fair play. All right, thanks very much indeed, Lorraine.
Have a great weekend.
Keep them coming in to 0877 98 98 98. Just send me a quick WhatsApp voice note about that one little thing that has changed for the better since lockdown. So for Lorraine, it was her husband's cooking. Let's have a listen to this WhatsApp voice note from Marty.
Hi, Adrian. My enjoyable thing about this whole lockdown is I get to just lie around and do absolutely nothing. I am just sitting around watching Netflix 24 hours a day, not caring about anything, putting on loads of weight, starting to whiff a bit of an outfit there, have to have a shower I think soon, growing a beard, and just watching every box set that I can get my hands on Netflix. So I'm just becoming a total couch bum.
Good man, Marty. Fair play. You wouldn't be the only one who's become a couch potato over the last couple of weeks. What is that one little thing for you that has changed for the better? And if you can only just send, please, voice notes to 0877 98 98 98. A WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. Stephen is the exact opposite. He's actually lost a bit of weight.
A few good things came out of this lockdown for me. My relationship is an awful lot better with my wife. I'm after losing an awful lot of weight. I'm doing a lot more walking than usual. And I'm spending more time preparing better food instead of going to the chipper all the time. So I've actually lost a hell of a lot of weight over it. So it's it's all good to me.
That's fantastic, Stephen. That's great to hear. Keep them coming in. 0877 98 98 98. What is that little thing that has changed for the better since lockdown? Now, Stephen, I'd have to say I'm the same. I'm walking more than I normally would. We have a walk around the roads near our house, which is within 2 kilometres, and it's a kind of a big 2.5 kilometre walk around the block, basically, but it's within 2 kilometres of our house. And I've done that more in the last month than I ever have in all the time we've ever lived there. Karen has enjoyed spending more time with her kids.
Hi lads, I am sitting here playing with my almost 4-year-old daughter Olivia. We're playing teddies, and normally we'd be working and too busy coming home, doing the dinner, getting the house cleaned, and we've never had so much time together, and it's lovely. We're playing teddy bears here, and we'll sit here for the next hour doing that, and it's great to just have the time for it.
That is fantastic, and I think it's something that a lot of parents will miss a little bit when when things start to return to some sort of normality, and when we start to return to work. Parents who are working at home at the moment, when they start going back to work, they may miss their kids and be surprised by how much they miss their kids. Keep your voice notes coming in. This is from Lisa.
Hey Adrian, I don't know whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm seeing my husband more. Have a good day, nice to listen to your show.
Jay.
Morning lads. I suppose the one thing that's really been a benefit, especially for me in this lockdown, is I have to say the price of fuel has dropped massively. I don't know, and compared to using 30-40 euro in diesel a day, I'm down to about 22-23 euro a day, which is fantastic.
Where are you driving, Jay? You must be a truck driver or something. Are you a van driver or something? If you're spending 23 euros a day, must be up and down to Cork every day. Keep them coming in to 0877 98 98 98. A WhatsApp voice note, please, about that little thing that has changed for the better since lockdown. This is John.
I'm still on walk, driving around, and it's absolutely fantastic. No traffic. Great getting around. Don't have to worry about parking. Don't have to worry about clampers. Happy days. Glad to be walking. Stay safe.
John, you're saying you don't have to worry about clampers. I've seen clampers around the streets, so be careful there. In fact, there was a tow truck around the corner from our job this morning, so be warned, be warned, be warned. Okay, where am I going now? This is from Troy.
Getting out with me young lads and getting them more involved in their sport that they're playing now, and they're really into it, and they want to go out and play and practice, do a bit of hurling practice, do a bit of Gaelic practice and stuff like that. So it's good for everyone because it gets the mind and body in good shape. So that's the benefit of this.
And it is, and I think it's something that maybe when this starts to come to an end, some of us might actually keep it up and make that extra effort. This is from Sarah.
My car is spotless and I'm saving a fortune on diesel. Haven't left the house.
I have to tell you, Sarah, my car was spotless and I was doing a lovely job of keeping it lovely. And I made an absolute pig's knickers of it the other day. I was cleaning the car. I have a pressure washer thing, and that was grand. But I used this brush then to clean it with suds and whatever. But a small little stone must have gotten into the brush, and it has scratched the daylights out of my car. Honestly, it's ruined. And that was me trying to be good and clean my own car, but I've made an absolute mess of the car. So, and there's nowhere even to bring it to get it touched up. But be warned if you're cleaning your car not to use a brush, or if you are using a brush, not to make sure there's no little stone in it, because there was in mine and it's destroyed. Now, Maria is a truck driver.
Hi, Adrian and Jeremy. I'm a truck driver, so there are less gobshites on the road, so I can get my work done quicker. So that's a positive. Thank you.
Thank you. Susie is saving a fortune on one particular thing.
The one good thing about this lockdown is I'm saving money on going to cafes, because I was nearly doing it every single day, and you don't realise how much money you're actually spending. So I'm noticing a difference now, and yeah, it's all good. So can't wait till it's all over, though. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. None of us can wait till it's all over. But we're looking at the small little things that you can take as a positive out of all of this. This man wants to remain anonymous.
Hi, Adrian. Since the lockdown, I'm having far more sex because there's nothing else to do. I'm obviously not giving you my name.
You wouldn't be the only one. They reckon that by after Christmas, there is going to be a major baby boom in Ireland. There's going to be a huge baby boom in Ireland later on this year and early next year. So there. Dara has gotten fitter.
Hey lads, what has improved during the lockdown for me is my fitness has gone way up. At the start of lockdown, I bought an indoor bike trainer. I've been on it more or less every day, and my fitness has gone up on that. And then also the 2K, doing runs around the 2K block. My 5K has taken a minute off last year, and 10K a minute and a half off last year's time. So it's looking good that way. Cheers, lads.
Okay, thank you very much indeed, Dara. Caroline, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Caroline.
Hiya, Jeremy.
This is Adrian, but that's okay. That's
Adrian,
okay.
sorry.
How are you, Caroline?
The same.
Caroline, what is that one little thing that has improved for you?
I just find the piece, the nice thing about it, even though the rest of it's very sad, it's, the nice thing is walking down the road, walking the dog, and just having no one flying into you on bikes all the time and just nearly knocking you down or knocking other people down, and that's all gone. And gangs coming up and circling you on their bikes and that. I used to find that a terrible challenge. I used to have to jump out of the way and out of the way for safety. And now that's all it's just less peace. I know it's not much, but it's I can walk and I can breathe and I can just breathe in the air, and it's just nice to not have that threatening behaviour.
Okay, so it's we live in a bit more of a chilled atmosphere, do we?
We do, I think. But even though it's very sad, people dying, God love them, and none of us would like to get this illness. None of us. And I've been praying that nobody else dies because it's horrible. But just walking on the road, I think the Gardaí, they really do need to be a bit more out there, though. I'm sending people back home. I mean, we're able to have our 1 hour walk, which I do, but there's a lot of people that are still not sticking to the rules. But it's nice to have that little bit of peace, yeah. A little bit of...
Right, and actually, it's a conversation we're going to be having a little bit later on about people just going to the shops and the supermarkets and making the queues longer just to buy a pint of milk, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what my daughter actually said. She works, both my daughter and son, they both work in the retail. They both work, one in Tesco and one over in Scary's and Jerry's, and now they're going to know who's on the phone right now. But anyway, I'm after giving it away.
But the point being, and like I said, we're going to have the conversation a little bit later on, is the amount of people going to the supermarket just to get two things and standing in a queue.
Yeah. And standing in the queue and really being very kind of disrespectful towards the staff. That's not nice either.
All right, Caroline, thank you very much indeed. And a couple more WhatsApp voice notes. This is from... Gemma. Gemma has actually taken up something that she had never done before. In fact, my own daughter is doing something quite similar. Have a listen to this.
Hi, Adrian. What's improved for me is that I've actually started to meditate regularly. I'm now meditating for 30 minutes a day, and I feel a lot less stressed and a lot calmer with regarding everything that's going on in the world right now. Also, I filled up my car with €50 diesel last month, and it's still full, so I guess that's good.
That's good, yeah. And the diesel in my car has lasted, even though I am driving in and out of work every day. I'm not driving anywhere else. I'm literally driving into work and back home again, and I live out near the airport. And the diesel has just lasted and lasted and lasted. I've no long drives. I'm not going anywhere other than into work. Caroline finally sent us this WhatsApp voice note.
Morning. A big positive for me is that I stopped smoking over 2 weeks ago, so I'm well chuffed.
That is fantastic, Caroline, and well done to you, and well done all of you. We like to do stuff like this every now and again, just to look at try and take some positives out of everything that we are going through. You're listening to 98 FM's Dublin Talks. This is Adrian Kennedy. We're here until midday today. Now, I only had to mention the word Debenhams at the start of our programme, and we have been flooded with messages from people about Debenhams. This is an awful story, and we're going to hear the human side of a company like Debenhams deciding to shut up shop here in Ireland straight after the break. Don't go away.
The sound of the city from Donamead to Drimna. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
Every day of the week, we are being bombarded with really awful statistics regarding COVID-19. We obviously are concerned about getting our jobs back again. Well, imagine working for a company for over 20 years and then in the blink of an eye, losing your job. These people call themselves lifers. They've literally given their life to their job. And we'll be talking to several of them in a moment who, up until the other day, were employed by Debenhams. Now, it was announced last Thursday, and I'm sure many of you heard this story, but it's kind of gone a little bit under the radar because I know, for example, when Cleary's closed a couple of years ago, there was uproar over it. And this story, because of everything else that's going on in our country and in our economy, is one that has, I won't say be ignored, it hasn't been ignored, but it's gone under the radar a little bit. And that is the fact that last Thursday, Debenhams Retail Ireland, which employs 2,000 workers at 11 stores here in the Republic, said that they would enter liquidation days after Debenhams entered administration in the UK, which are very different things. In other words, the company, which had already suspended trading in Ireland, obviously due to the COVID-19 pandemic, said that management had no alternative option in the current environment. Debenhams admitted that its Irish stores are not expected to reopen, and the trade union mandate believes the timing of the liquidation to be an abuse of power. Now, Mairead, you are one of the workers from Debenhams, and you had been working with them for 24 years.
Yes, Adrian, that's right. I started there way back in 1996. I started over in the Jervis Street shopping centre, and then in 2006 they bought from the Rotary stores. They had that one in Henry Street, and the staff of Jervis, we all moved over there from 2008. We went over in 2008 at the time, and it just came as such a devastating blow to everybody in the company. It was a generic email that was sent out to us last Thursday, and it just told us then that they're going into liquidation, and that the COVID-19, they mentioned that was a factor in it. Mm-hmm. And to get in contact with gov.ie or the Citizens, advice centre. And there was no one to say, oh, look, you can ring this number, that number, we'll talk to you, we'll give you help in this situation. There was no helpline set.
So tell me, Mairead, exactly what and this, you weren't the only one to receive it. All of the staff received this email. Tell me what the email said.
Well, I can't word it completely, but they did say they were very sorry to announce that they have to cease trading in Ireland because they're going into liquidation, and the COVID-19 was, mentioned as a factor in that. And
COVID-19 was obviously the reason that the stores are closed at present.
Yes.
But you and a lot obviously believe that they're just using this pandemic as an excuse not to reopen again.
Well, we do, because the way they went about it, what happened was a couple of days before that, the staff were in there and say they closed the store on the Monday, and the staff were there Monday and were brought back in on the Tuesday, and they packed totes upon totes and of all the valuable items that's in the store, as in all the cosmetics, perfumes, jewellery, expensive, clothing, things like that, were all packed away in case, as we thought, they might be looting, going on as the company that's the impression we were taking from that.
And what's your impression now of what you were doing?
Well, I think we were packing them away, the staff were packing it away, ready to pull out of there completely.
So you reckon even before you stopped working in the store, you reckon they knew exactly what they were doing?
Absolutely. I think they just knew that they weren't going to be reopening there. Surely, I'm sure they had been in and doing their books and had made a decision at that time. But what's really angering us, is the fact that there was no personal contact whatsoever. All the people there want to know, what about our redundancies? There's many people working in there that have family members there. There's a lot of people would have 2, 3, and even in one case, up to 4 members of one family.
In fact, I've just gotten a message from somebody saying something similar. There's a load of them working in the store. Let me ask you, Mairead, as somebody who's worked there for as long as you have, obviously you don't see the books and whatever, but did you get a feeling that this writing was on the wall, or is this after coming as a complete bolt out of the blue?
Honestly, it came as a complete bolt out of the blue, because there at Christmas time, oh my God, the shop was so busy. Like, the public will remember in the stores, in the Debenham stores, the queues were literally, forming all the time. We were go, go, go all the time. And I was thinking, God, this is like back years ago when everywhere was booming, and I felt really, this is brilliant. And then we were told about 2 weeks ago, roughly, that the stores in England were going into administration, but we need not worry about that. It came a couple of days, that's not to do with us. And
then what happened was the exact opposite, that the stores here in Ireland are being put into liquidation, which is completely different than administration.
Absolutely. Yes, it is. And we never, when we were told that, we had been in administration some years ago.
That's right, yeah.
So we said, well, we were there, that's all sorted. We took a pay freeze for 10 years, something like that. Everything was sorted when people were leaving. Other people weren't getting taken on, but we thought, they're just tightening the purse strings there, they're not replacing it. So all of that type of thing. But everybody was quite willing to suck that up. At least we had our job. So
based on what you witnessed over certainly the Christmas period and say January, February and early March, you saw nothing in the footfall in the store to in any way concern you that, oh my God, this is very quiet?
No alarm bells were ringing with me, because the only time you would see a very quiet in the store if the weather is extremely cold. And even at that will bring business, because everybody will come in and buy the warm coats and they literally fly out, Or when the weather is really hot, you'll see a bit of a change. But then the people that are in are kind of daily bulk buying for summer wear or for the winter. So it kind of balances out. You may not get as many in, but when the people that come in will buy a lot of what they're needing in the wardrobe or whatever,
So obviously, getting this email last week, it was bad enough to be laid off work for what you thought was going to be a couple of weeks, and that couple of weeks with government support. To find out last week that you will not be going back to work must have been absolutely devastating.
To be quite honest, Adrian, I was very hurt, and I know all my colleagues are. We have a WhatsApp group, and some people were saying today, being asked would they come on the show, they're too emotional to speak over it. All the people that have mortgages, and have children or people going to college, all like this, they're everybody. No matter what background you are, to be left without a monthly income, and to go down to little or nothing, and then knowing that when the lockdown is over and you go back out there, it's like there's not going to be as much work, because a lot of small places will fold as well. But it's really just the treatment as well of them.
And it does smack of the way in which Penny's closed down, I have to say. It strikes me as being very similar, total and utter disregard for the staff.
Sorry, Adrian, are you thinking the Clearys?
Yes, sorry, what did I say? What did I say? Did I say pennies or something? Sorry,
No,
Clearys,
but
yes, of
that's
course,
no problem, yeah.
The way in which their staff were treated at the time was disgraceful as well.
I'm not 100% up on Clearys, and it was absolutely dreadful. And we always thought going forward that would never happen again, that the government will get in there, set up a precinct, that these things cannot be happening in this age, this year, this time, that we can't be doing that to the workers of Ireland. The government need to step in and draw up. It just put a stop to this, that these big companies can do this to their workers. And nobody knows, as I say, about redundancy.
Finally, that's what I was about to say to you, Mairead. In the letter, it said nothing about redundancy. It just told you to go to gov.ie, did it?
Yes, gov.ie or the citizens, where you go to citizens' rights, either go to
In other
them.
words, this is out of our hands. Go on, good luck, see you, bye.
Yes, it was like they washed their hands completely, left us in limbo. Lots of people would like to have a reference going forward, like to be able to get in there and get their personal belongings, and there's nothing whatsoever. We're just relying now on the union to fight for its mandate. They have been sending lots of letters
and I know they have described it as an abuse of power.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Mairead, stay there for 1 second because we've a lot of calls coming in on this on 6797 981. You can also text or send a WhatsApp voice note to 0877 98 98 98. This message says, I work for one of the cosmetic concessions in Debenhams. We still have had no official communication about the closure. We found out via Debenhams staff and social media. No email, no phone call. It's disgusting how everyone is being treated. The company need to take responsibility for the situation they have put the staff in. And another message says, I'm a courier and the amount of stuff we are delivering from Debenhams is unbelievable. It's even busier than Christmas. It's disgraceful how they have treated their staff and they are clearly still turning over a profit. Now, imagine a whole family losing their jobs in one foul swoop, in one cold email. And Liz, 4 sisters, all worked in Debenhams.
That's right, Adrian, yeah, 4 sisters. Me being the elder lemon.
Right.
Yeah, we all lost our jobs last week too, yeah.
And again, notified by an email. I
actually have the email up in front of me here, Adrian.
And in fact, I have it here. I have it here on my computer as well now. So, this was sent to all management in Debenhams on the 12th of March. Managers then relayed it to staff about what good shape the business was in. Oh, this was actually before.
That was the one we got before.
Yeah, and so this was an email.
I have the one that we got here.
Okay, I'll have a read of that in a second. But this was an email sent to staff from the CEO on the 12th of March. Okay. And this, let me see. As you may have seen, yesterday we announced that CVA challenge process has been concluded in our favour and that the time period for... Sorry, what's this one about? This is great news for Debenhams. We can put the distraction of this litigation behind us and proceed with our plans to turn the business around. So on the 12th of March, staff were being given... great solace that things were looking good, that they were restructuring their debt and everything was hunky-dory.
That's right, yeah. And they also went on to tell us that the English stores had gone to administration, but that the Irish stores were going to be okay. So we all thought, that's great news. And I was walking along the canals last week when I got a phone call from a friend because I had my phone on silent. And she says to me, have you heard the news? And that's the way I found out about it after 24 years. So you can understand why we're all rearing up over this.
So tell me, so that was the email sent to all staff on the 12th of March, which would lead you to believe that everything was hunky-dory.
Yes.
Okay. So tell me about last week's email then.
Then last week's email came in on the Thursday, and that's when they told us that unfortunately our Irish businesses had trading challenges and that the UK entered into administration to protect the business, but regrettably, Debenhams in Ireland would have to be appointed to a liquidator, and that was the way they told us. And that they went on to say then, we're sorry for the decision we made, and we'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for your invaluable service to our customers throughout the years, and we wish you every success. And that was it.
Good God. That is horrific.
Absolutely, yeah. And I have 4 sisters working there, and there's mothers and daughters working there. So it was always kind of like a family shop going back throughout the years. Actually, I'd say most of the people that worked in there that have children, their children had worked in there too.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the email now, and it says, it is with great sadness that I'm writing to inform you that as of today, the shareholder of Debenhams Retail Limited is going into administration, and that it will make an application for Debenhams Ireland to be placed into liquidation. It's anticipated that the application will be made, blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, our Irish business has had trading challenges, even though only a month before that, you were being told that everything was brilliant.
Only actually a few days before that, we were told the Irish stores were safe. I think it was the Tuesday before it all happened, we were told that the Irish stores were safe.
And it's this final paragraph I just find so cold. We are sorry this decision has been made, and we'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for your invaluable service to our customers, your unquestionable loyalty to the company, and your outstanding teamwork you have all shown throughout your years in Debenhams Ireland, and wish you every success in the future. I mean, if ever there was 2 fingers given to staff, that's it. And then the line before that, the letter is to primarily inform of the decision, and further communication about this process will follow from the liquidator in due course. And I'm assuming you haven't heard anything from any liquidator.
No, we haven't heard a thing, Adrian. And unfortunately, the week before shutdown, on the Monday, we went into work. We were kind of half thinking that they were going to send us home, because at this stage, the government had put people under pressure, jobs under pressure to close if they weren't necessary. So we went in, and we were asked after about 2 hours, because there was nothing to do, people weren't around, could we pack up their valuable items? And we did all that. We put them into totes, which are boxes that we call totes. We packed away jewellery, we packed away all the makeup, all the Levi's.
And you were of the impression, and this is what Mairead was saying a second ago, you were of the impression you were doing this, in case the store gets broken into or whatever.
For looting, they told us. The lads put cages up against the doors. We did everything, and we thought this was all But to be honest with you, Adrian, the girls in my department knew. I kind of had an inkling feeling something wasn't right about it. I just thought it was a little bit odd that they were making us do this. And we asked senior management on the day, and they told us, which I don't know whether they knew or not. None of us know. Oh no, everything's fine. We're definitely going to be open after all this. This is just for security. But we packed all them for them to wheel them out them doors very, very easily now. But they won't get them out the doors where we're concerned, because that's a redundancy money.
Right. In fact, I want to get you to stay on the line for a second, because I want to find out what you and other staff members are planning to do as a result of this. And Doreen, I'm going to talk to you after the break as well.
Grant,
you were there 24 years and fuming that you were notified in this way.
Oh, I'm absolutely livid.
Okay, stay there for 1 second, Doreen. Okay. I'll be with you straight after the ad break. If you have a comment on this, you can call us on 6797 981. Text, WhatsApp, or send a WhatsApp voice note to 087 798 98 98.
The sound of the city, from Perrystown to Portmarnock. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
One of the worst ways to lose your job is to lose your job via email. And that is exactly what has happened to the staff of Debenhams here in Ireland. And as I said, it's a story that kind of went a little bit under the radar because of everything else that is going on. But the staff have essentially been told that they will not be going back to work when this is all over, because the Debenhams stores are not expected to reopen, because they've been placed into liquidation. And any further communication with staff will be from the liquidator. But the email said, thanks very much, you've been really good. We recommend you visit gov.ie or citizensinformation.ie, and thanks for the good time, see ya. And that's literally what they got. What a horrible, horrible way to... Losing your job obviously is difficult anyhow, but to lose your job in that way... Doreen, that's the bit that's annoying you the most, the way in which you've been notified.
Yeah, the way we have been notified, and the fact that there was no mention of redundancies or paying out to people, nothing like that. Like, I'm one of the older members of the staff, and the chances of me getting a job now when this pandemic is over is very, very slight. So, because the young people are going to find it hard, don't mind me. And then, Adrian, a very important point, I'm so annoyed about it, but then if that wasn't shock enough about the email, the shock was a few days later when we found out that Bank of Ireland had a part in this. Like, the Bank of Ireland is owned, 14% is owned by the Irish government. And we bailed them out not too long ago during the last recession.
When you say Bank of Ireland had a part in this, we're responsible for pulling the plug?
Oh yes. They made the decision. Obviously, it was a collective decision with our consortium to go and keep all the 142 stores, or at least try, and to close up down the Irish. We were sacrificed, Jeremy.
That's what it seems like. That's what it seems like. Now, I'll have to look into that whole Bank of Ireland aspect of this, so I can't comment on that because I'm not aware of it. But
we're only aware of that recently.
Okay, you see this as being you're the sacrificial lambs in order to save the UK stores.
Absolutely. The Irish stores, and I can tell you, Jeremy, particularly, I'm speaking for the one in Henry Street. I can tell you that 90% of those stores in the UK are not as profitable as the one in Henry Street. And that's a fact now. That's a fact, because I was supervisor and I was privy to figures. And I can tell you, it was often said that we were second after Oxford Street many, many times.
Really? In the whole group?
Yes, in the whole group. Yes, absolutely. So, this is so out of the blue. Like, it's unbelievable.
And that's the bit that I'm hearing from everybody, that this was, you had been given reassurances that the Irish stores were on the up and things were looking good, and all of the hassle, and we know about administration in the past and all of that, that was all behind you. And this was only on the 12th of March you were told this. This is all behind you now. You can all relax. And even when it came to closing up the stores, we'll be back open in a couple of weeks. Don't you worry about it.
Absolutely. And in actual fact, we were all, like, the different floors, there's different floors in there, and we all had our own managers, and we set up WhatsApp groups so he could keep us informed of what was going on. And only a few days previous to that, they did send a text to say that the UK was going into administration, but this was nothing to do with us. And I actually know one young girl that we had was talking to the manager, and he said, "What are you worrying for? This doesn't concern us at all." And then to have this, so you can imagine, that's the reason it came out of the blue. Everyone is so shocked.
Yeah, so you were all being reassured that everything was good, that you would be back, that the Irish stores would reopen in a matter of weeks.
Absolutely. And even when they were telling us to go on to the payment and all, none of us, like, everything was, this only temporary in the emails. Like, everything was temporary. There was nothing to say. No, we were really let down the garden path, Adrian, I have to say.
Your heart must have sank when you got that email.
I'm telling you, I had to read the email 3 times. And then, to be honest with you, I think I had to sit down because I was so shocked over it. You know, and it's really not fair, because during this time...
Oh, sorry, I've lost you there, Doreen. Oh, listen to that noise. Lorraine, let me go to Lorraine next. Lorraine.
Hi, Jeremy.
This is Adrian, by the way. Sorry, it's Jeremy who rang you. But let me ask you, Lorraine. You're very, and I'm hearing a lot of hurt over this.
Emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't know. I might get upset if I go on the radio, but I just feel I need to say something. It's just about the loyalty. that we have all given to Debenhams over the years. And as you keep hearing along, there's lots of families from the same family that have worked there, and, you know, their children as well. It was like we were an actual family in Debenhams. And even
and one of the things, sorry to cut across you, Lorraine, one of the things that I'm realising, and somebody just sent me this message, I've been with Debenhams in Tralee for 17 years. 80% of the staff in our store have been with the company for 15 plus years.
Yeah, and that's the way it is. That resonates in all Debenhams. There's an awful lot of long-time staff. I'm 21 years this year. Started part-time, went to full-time, and back to part-time again. But it's not to do with how many hours or days or anything you've worked. It's about, you know, what you've given to the company, and it's all we've known for so long. And it's the way they done it. On Holy Thursday, they decided to send this message. To be honest with you, I think I was in shock until Easter Sunday morning, and I woke up sobbing. And I just realised then, you know, what they had done, and to be there so long, and this is how they treat you. It's just shocking, and I think I've...
And by the way, I'm hearing from a lot of concession workers, from people running
concession worker.
Oh, are you? Right, so...
Yeah.
Did you get the email, or did you hear from staff?
And the only reason is because of my contract. It's a very strange one. I work for a concession who I won't mention at the moment.
No, that's okay.
But I'm paid by Debenhams. I'm a Debenhams employee.
Okay, because I've just been sent another message. I was working for a cosmetics brand in Debenhams, and I was notified about the closure by email screenshots.
Yes.
That is absolutely disgraceful.
Most of my colleagues didn't know about it.
This is Cleary's Part 2. It really is.
Of course it is. And they said it wouldn't happen again, and here we go again.
Yeah, it is Cleary's Part 2.
Unfortunately, because of the whole COVID thing, we can't get out and voice our opinion. So this is why we need to get onto the radio and, you know, shout. Because we know how serious it is, the COVID, and we're trying to get our heads around this and do everything properly. We can't leave our homes.
No, so obviously I'm sure you'd all like to meet as a group and discuss the way forward here.
Yeah, even just to give each other a hug and support each other.
Yeah, and in fact, Doreen, I think it was you that might have said earlier... Oh no, her phone's gone mad. I don't know what's going on with that. One of the ladies a while ago said that you're determined to, for example, stop all the stock being taken out of the stores.
Well, that's what we'd like to do. We hope we can do it. But as you'd know, there would be things put in place to stop you, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. It really is. I'm shocked by this whole story, and that's the only way. The only way I can think to, and that's why we really wanted to highlight this, because it is a story that, as you said, it was.
Thank you for that.
It was Holy Thursday. There was a long bank holiday weekend, and it did kind of slip under the radar a little bit. But the more I'm hearing about this, the more this is Cleary's Part 2.
Oh, it is. Yeah, and on Good Friday.
And in fact, it's even worse than Cleary's Part 2. At least Cleary's staff are told to their face.
Yes, yeah. Our belongings are still inside in the lockers. We haven't even cleared them out. My last day to work was Sunday the 22nd. They had closed on the Monday. And as I said, I worked for a concession, but all I sold was Easter eggs for the day. I took €90 for my brand. But Easter eggs, they have made millions on the Easter eggs. Where that money has gone, I don't know. Because they said they don't have it in the company.
Okay, listen, I'm going to take a very quick ad break, Lorraine. And Deirdre, I'll talk to you after the break. Also can't believe what happened. We'll take another couple of calls on this. And unfortunately, the worry about this, Lorraine, is that nothing really can be done about this right now. In fact, have we even been... Sorry, you were about to say there was another email on Friday.
On Friday, another email came through again from the main CEO. But I don't think we were meant to receive that email because it was more based at the UK stores. It was to do with the administration, whereas if you're going...
Okay, so there's been no communication at all from any liquidator here in Ireland? No. And we don't even know who the liquidator appointed has been?
No, we haven't got a clue.
And again... it could be ages
going
before.
Back for 1 second, because the girls were saying they asked management, we're all on different floors. Personally, and this is my only personal opinion, I don't think some of those managers knew what was going on. I think they're in the same boat that we are. They were led down the garden path as well. Nobody knew anything, only if you were head up, high up in there.
All right, Lorraine, I'm going to take a very quick break. We'll take another couple of calls about this straight after the break. Don't go away. It's 11 o'clock across Dublin. Good morning. This is Adrian Kennedy. This is 98 FM's Dublin Talks. And this is Emma with Thursday's top headlines.
Thanks, Adrian. Good morning. More than 1,000 beds have been sourced for the homeless community in Dublin City since the COVID-19 outbreak began, according to a report from the council. The figure includes 400 rooms in 8 different hotels. Gardaí are questioning a teenage boy after a man was stabbed to death in the North Inner City. The 20-year-old victim was fatally wounded outside Ballybock House at around 10 o'clock last night. There's new evidence to suggest that speaking and not just coughing and sneezing can spread COVID-19. A study in the New England Journal of Medicine has found tiny droplets that come out of the mouth while speaking are infectious. And a 99-year-old British man has completed 100 laps of his garden, raising millions for the health service in the UK. Tom Moore had hoped to get £1,000 in donations to support frontline workers, but he's so far received more than 12 million. And now you're up to date on 98.
Isn't that just one of the best stories out of this whole crisis, that story, £12 million, 100 years
It's
of age?
unbelievable.
Isn't it? It really
I was
is.
watching it. I was watching the GoFundMe page or whatever page it was on, but it just kept going up all day. 5 million, 7 million, 10 million, 12
It's extraordinary, it really is, and well done to him. All right, thank you, Emma.
Thank you.
98 FM's Dublin Talks. Call 6797 981.
And this is Adrian Kennedy. We'll take another couple of calls on what we've been talking about, and that is Debenhams a week ago informing their staff by email on Holy Thursday, ahead of a long bank holiday weekend, which didn't end until Tuesday just gone, that they were gone. Good luck. Companies going into liquidation, even though they'd gotten previous reassurances that things were actually okay with the Irish operation and that this closure for COVID-19, like with all the stores, is merely temporary and we'll be back open and back in business in a couple of weeks. Laura sent me this WhatsApp voice note.
I've worked for Debenhams for 18 years and I never thought we would have been treated this way. Only moved into a new house and have a mortgage and bills to pay. It's very upsetting for all of us, and especially at this time as we can't even be together and have a union meeting or protest. It's just very, very stressful time for everybody.
I'm sure it is. I can only imagine. Like I said, to find out that you're losing a job is difficult enough. To find out in that way is just awful. And your point is that this company, for whom, are still trading online.
Yeah, Adrian, hi, how are you?
Good, thank you.
My name is Anne. I'm from the actual Debenhams Blanchardstown store. Before we started, I'd say a thank you to you and the team for giving everybody a voice this morning for Debenhams. It's so at the moment, because we're all in lockdown, we can't really get out and do anything.
Yes, and that's what I was saying a while ago, and I do think this, that the story, if we weren't going through what we are going through, and if it wasn't a very long bank holiday weekend, it's a story that... well, yes, exactly, and it's a story that would have gotten more coverage, and... like I said, I can only describe this as Cleary's Part 2 with knobs on nearly.
Absolutely. And the feeling is for us as well, like, you know, we felt like the company obviously has thrown us all underneath the bus, but we're sort of hoping that the government now will take a sit up on their backsides now and take heed to it. You know, we have a lot of politicians in the background that everybody, all the staff have been writing to, and they've been absolutely fabulous. We had a conference call here last night with practically all the great team there in Ireland on with politicians last night, and we're asking everybody, friends, family members, people that work for them, don't work for them, if they could write something, if they can sign the petition. We really want people to get on because we physically cannot do anything much more than in the 2 kilometres. We have to stay in.
No, of course, absolutely. And this only adds to the difficulty of this whole thing. But let me ask you, one of the points you were making is that they are still trading online. Where does that product come from?
The stock is coming from the UK, but they're still trading on the Debenhams. You go on and you can actually, Debenhams.ie, you can actually buy stuff. So the stock is still coming here under that name, but just it's not trading with the staff here in Ireland.
Okay, so if I order something, and we've just been on the website, and yes, it is still operating, Debenhams.ie, is the stuff coming from a warehouse here in Ireland or in the UK?
UK.
Right.
Yeah,
okay.
UK. It's coming from the UK. But it's still trading underneath the Debenhams Ireland name.
Yes.
It's still trading here.
Right.
So it's for us, it's still physically trading. It's just, we're gone, we just lost our jobs, like. We're out. And something I'd like to say, because I know a lot of people, I've been looking at the text messages and everything else there, I know about the stock that was boxed up from certain stores that was sent out as well. No management, because we have a very large WhatsApp group for the job, which is really, really great because it helps us all communicate together. No management knew what was happening with that stock. So I think they were a bit upset as well. Just
and has that stock from that you were asked to pack away last week on the pretense that there may be looting or whatever, were you told the same in your store, that's why you were packing it up?
Well, as far as I think in our Blanchardstown store, I don't think we done the stock. I think it was more just the Easter eggs that were done in our store, Adrian. They were sent off, and we were told they were being sold off to a different store. So that's what we were told with them. So that was just to help.
Okay, but you didn't have to pack
money coming in to help the store reopen itself back up.
Right.
That's the sort of notion that we would have taken for that.
And let me ask you, I was finding out about the Henry Street store, and I know myself because I would pass it regularly. It's always packed. It seemed to be doing a thriving business, and as you heard a while ago, the second busiest branch in the whole of the Debenhams chain, including after Oxford Street in London. What was your store like in Blanche?
Well, we were quite busy as well. It's a good flow out in Blanchardstown as well, the indoor mall. I mean, I think even in Ireland, we were one of the three big stores with ourselves in Cork and Henry Street. So, I mean, I'm not taking any light off any other stores. I know even the smaller stores are quite busy as well in their own right. But obviously we went a little bit quieter before we closed, but I think that's what was going on mainly with the world at the moment now, because a lot of people...
Oh, absolutely. Stores were quieter in the couple of weeks before this all kicked off, before stores were closed. I know, I even went to a restaurant a couple of days before, and a restaurant that would normally be packed out the door was empty,
Yeah, and look... And on what you had stated earlier on, I think what has left a really, really dirty taste in all, I'm 13 years there, and I have a daughter upstairs that's 4 years in the company, so we're two generations as well from working in a store there. I'm 26 years working in the Blanchardstown Centre itself. So for me, it was exactly what you had just stated, was the email that was sent from the 12th. From that point onwards, from that email, it just confused everybody, and it left so many people so angry. And like you said, it was so cold and callous the way it was done. I absolutely think it was premeditated the way it was sent out, from the date it was sent out. They were hoping that the media didn't get on top of this and just let this flow as quickly as it could, appoint the administrator or appoint the liquidator in and do what we need to do under the bridge of everybody else, worrying about the wars being sick.
And that is exactly what seems to have happened, and it is disgraceful in the extreme. And as I said, even when it came to the awful way the staff in Cleary's were treated, they were at least told face to face. And to be told in this way and to use a pandemic like this in this way is just outrageous. And the one thing I can promise you all of you who've been contacting us, and an awful lot of staff, we are going to sit on this, and we are going to continue to give you a voice during this very difficult time, because this, just like the Cleary's thing, is something we can't ignore, and we can't allow staff to be treated in this way in this country.
Absolutely, Adrian. That's fantastic. That is really, really good. I mean, like I said, at the end of this, I mean, I think bigger stores are now sitting back and seeing which way the government and everybody else reacts to this. They're sitting back to see how is Devon's going to get away with this. So we need to make a stand now. For all retail sectors now at the moment, we need to make a stand.
And just for all of the staff, and I know there are an awful lot of you listening to us today, because this will be available for podcast after the show, this whole conversation, and please share it to bits and let everybody listen to this conversation who may not have heard the show live this morning. And like I said, we are going to keep in touch with all of you over the next couple of weeks as our restrictions start being eased a little bit, as we can start to meet each other. We will be there behind all of the workers, because I just think it's outrageous the way you've all been treated. I really do.
And if everybody, like I said, Adrian, if everybody could get on and sign the petition, contact their local TDs for us, send an email in, absolutely fantastic as well, Adrian.
And the very best of luck to you, and we'll keep in touch.
Thank you, Adrian.
All right, let me play a few more WhatsApp voice notes before I wrap this up. This is from Megan.
I've been working in Debenhams 2 years, and my nanny's been working in Debenhams for 24 years. We got a message to ask, was anyone willing to volunteer to pack the Easter eggs away, as they weren't going to be sold because the shop was closed for Easter. So me and my nanny volunteered to go in, as we knew we weren't going to be paid for this work. So we spent 5 hours packing away thousands of Easter eggs along with loads of other volunteers. And we were told that the huge amount of money that they were receiving for these eggs for whatever company, we don't know what company they sold them onto, was going to go back towards Debenhams.
All right, Debbie has a personal message for one of the Henry Street staff.
Hi, Adrian and Jeremy. Yeah, my name is Debbie. I used to go into the Henry Street branch regularly to see Jackie on the Chanel counter. She's such a lovely lady and so helpful and pleasant, and made you feel very welcome on counter and special. Nothing. Her customer service will never be matched by the other counters that are remaining in Arnott's and BT's. They're the total opposite, actually, and make you feel like you shouldn't be on the counter. But Jackie was so nice, and myself and Mum used to call into her regularly when we'd get into town, and she'd do little makeovers for us and give us a spritz of perfume and just, chat and have time. So I feel so sorry for them all. They're all a great bunch of people in there in all the areas. Just wanted to say that. Thank you.
That's a lovely message, Debbie. Thanks very much indeed. And finally, a message from Patrick, who was a supervisor at Debenhams.
Yeah, hello, this is Patrick from Tala. Yeah, supervisor in Tala. A number of staff members were asked to go in after the store was closed, after the country was put into lockdown, to pack up the Easter eggs to sell them to another company. We went in on 2 separate days to pack them up. They were loyalty to the company. And then some staff were asked on a further third day to go in and basically get the Easter eggs and get them ready to go off to another company. A courier came in and picked them up, so we were in there for 3.5 hours, waiting for the courier to pick them up. Absolutely no news of what was going to happen, and then that was a few days later. We got the horrible email to say that our jobs are no longer there. I've been in the company for 19 years, so obviously kicking the teeth. Not very nice. I was very upset. I know there's a lot of staff members that are there a long time, so it's not very nice. You're asked to go and pack up the Easter eggs, and then they don't care about you after that.
Really is. It's dreadful. We will, like I said, as this country starts to open up over the coming weeks, which it eventually will have to do, we will do more on this story. We will definitely come back to it during the coming weeks. Unfortunately, my apologies to you if I didn't manage to get back to your call, because we were just flooded with calls on that. And unfortunately, at this moment, there is very little more that we or the workers can do until we start trying to relax, open up the country a little bit. But we've just been sent a message claiming the name of the liquidator appointed here in Ireland. I'm not going to announce the name of that person right now, but we are going to follow up on that later on today. Okay, so as soon as the programme is over, we are going to reach out to that liquidator that we've been sent the name of, and we will try and get some more answers. Now, talking of shops and shopping and whether or not other stores may not open again, which is obviously a big worry for an awful lot of companies and employees. A new initiative is being suggested, which strikes me as being a very clever, very simple, not overly expensive idea. Ireland's retail lobby is calling on the government to give each householder a €500 gift card to spend on bricks and mortar shops to save an estimated 110,000 retail jobs, and to get those stores back open and back into business again. Like I said, the proposal has been suggested by Retail Excellence Ireland. So, we'll find out a little bit more about it. I'm joined on the line by Jim Powers, an economist who is representing and assisting Retail Excellence Ireland. Jim, let me begin, if I may. You've been hearing from all of the Debenham staff and the way in which they've been treated. What was your reaction from Retail Excellence Ireland to that awful news about Debenhams in Ireland?
Yeah, I mean, it's devastating news, and I think it's the sort of news we're likely to hear a lot more of over the coming weeks and months if policies are not put in place very quickly to try and secure the retail sector in Ireland. Unfortunately, the decision with Debenhams was taken from an overseas location, so there's probably not a lot that can be done about that at this stage. It's devastating for the workers involved, but it's now imperative that policymakers here focus on our remaining retail sector to make sure that as much of it as possible can reopen once this epidemic ends.
So tell me a little bit about this idea for a proposal that the state give every household in the country a €500 gift card. Where did this idea come from?
Well, I mean, various suggestions have been made about helicopter money and giving. There was a suggestion made that money should be lodged into everybody over 18 bank account so that they go out and spend in the real economy. I did not think that was a good idea because people, number one, could leave it in their bank account and not spend it. Secondly, they could spend it on an overseas holiday or whatever and it wouldn't find its way into the domestic economy. With the gift voucher suggestion, it means that the voucher has to be spent within a prescribed period, say 6 months, and it has to be spent in a physical bricks and mortar retail establishment in this country. So in other words, the money goes straight back into the retail sector here. It tries to reinvigorate retail activity. It tries to get people back into the habit of visiting shops again. And I suppose most importantly, it would go some way towards reinvigorating the retail sector and making sure that all of those workers who have been temporarily laid off during this lockdown are re-employed as quickly as possible.
What has been the reaction so far to this suggestion, which a lot of people think is a great idea, not to be used online, not to be used for a foreign holiday, to be used in the shops that are currently closed here in Ireland over the coming months? What sort of reaction has there been to it?
Well, the reaction has been generally positive. Retailers would obviously like to see it, and I think households would also like to see it. Clearly, if you had said to me this time last year I was going to make a suggestion like this, I would have laughed at you. But we are in such an unprecedented crisis at the moment. The notion that for the last 4 weeks or so and for the coming weeks that retail establishments are shut down, pubs, restaurants, etc., are not able to conduct business. This is an extraordinary situation that does require extraordinary solutions, and this is just one part of a number of suggestions that we should be looking at to try and bring life back to this economy as quickly as possible. There are 533,000 people now signing on for the various COVID-19 related government schemes. The imperative is to make sure that as many of those 533,000 people are back in the workforce as quickly as possible and earning money again and contributing to the economic and social life of the country again. These are desperate times and they do require desperate measures in my view.
Okay, now, a measure like this, and once again, this is a proposal that every household in the state would get a gift card for €500 to be spent in bricks and mortar stores the length and breadth of the country to reinvigorate the country. Would have a very large bill. We're looking at over $2 billion for this to happen.
No, I mean, we have 1.7 million households in the country, so the cost would be 850 million, okay, that's the cost of it. About 195 million of that would find its way directly back to the Exchequer in VAT because, there's a 23% VAT rate on most stuff you buy in shops. But then there is what we call an income multiplier effect. So in other words, the shop that gets this €500, they pay some of it to the Exchequer in VAT. Some of it is paid to their staff. Their staff go out and they spend it in other locations. So you get this. The money remains within the economy. That's the important point. And it's because the only way we can get out of this crisis is by, number one, accepting that the government is going to have to take on a lot more debt over the next couple of years. And secondly, that the only way that this government debt can be reduced is through economic activity, because economic activity generates tax revenues. It brings people into employment. It means the government has to spend less on social welfare and so on. So the point about this voucher is that it remains within the economy and it circulates within the economy, and that generates economic activity and benefits everybody in the economy.
Is there any precedent for this being done elsewhere?
There have been variations on it. The Australians a few years ago had what they call helicopter money. I think it was 1,000 Australian dollars was lodged into every individual over the age of 18 into their bank accounts. But I'm not aware of a similar scheme of the type that we're talking about here. But variations have been used, and I think that the really important thing about this is that if you lodge the money into somebody's account, they may or may not spend it, and we have no idea what they may spend it on. Whereas with this voucher, they will have to spend it within 6 months. If they don't, the balance on the voucher goes back to zero and the money returns to the state. And secondly, it will be spent within physical shops in the Irish economy. So the impact on the domestic economy would be maximised, in my view.
Finally, obviously this all depends on whether the government think this is a good idea. Do you see it as being something that may well happen?
Well, the government is obviously being inundated with suggestions from various interest groups, various sectors of the economy. So government is going to have to make a lot of decisions. I would hope that this is a suggestion that does see the light of day, because I think for the very beleaguered retail sector, it is absolutely essential that as much support as possible is given. Because listen, if at the end of the day the economy starts to reopen, many of the shops that were there before the shutdown may not be in a financial position to reopen. That will ultimately result in unemployment, but it will also lead to, shop closures on our streets in towns, villages and cities around the country. And I don't think we want that. I think we need to do whatever it takes to make sure as many of those shops as possible can reopen and can reestablish activity as quickly as possible. Because during this crisis, obviously a lot of us are migrating to online shopping, and the risk at the end of this is that we don't migrate back to shops, and ultimately that then will destroy the landscape, the cityscape in towns, villages around the country. So I think we really, really do need to avoid that. And I also think that, given the impact on the psyche of the nation at the moment from what's going on, a €500 gift voucher would actually come as a positive, pleasant surprise to people. And I think
absolutely. All right. Well, we
need that in this environment.
I think it's a fantastic suggestion. Let us hope that the government, or our new government, when it's formed, takes up and runs with the idea over the next couple of weeks. Jim Power, economist assisting Retail Excellence Ireland. Thank you very much, Lee, for talking to us on 98
You're
FM.
very welcome, Adrian. Thank you.
And just one quick WhatsApp voice note from Kenny on this one.
Adrian, that voucher sounds like a great idea, and should be doubled for frontline medical staff. They're the ones doing all the hard work at the moment.
That's very true, Kenny, actually. We'll just have to wait and see. In other countries, they have, as you heard, or are talking about putting money into people's bank accounts, the government putting money into people's bank accounts in order for them to start spending. The voucher idea is to encourage people to spend it in Irish stores as soon as they reopen. So I think it's a great idea, I really do, because obviously we want our stores reopened. We want our stores to start doing business again. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not the government do that. Now, talking of shopping, the only type of shopping we're allowed to do at the moment is essential shopping in supermarkets. And I'm going to be hearing from a lady called Alison, who's a little bit annoyed about people going shopping unnecessarily.
The sound of the city from Saggart to Sutton. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
Now, many of you will probably get a little bit annoyed when you hear the comments being made by a listener called Alison, who sent us a big long rant on Facebook last night. It's all about supermarket visits and why she believes people are putting lives at risk by making unnecessary visits to their local supermarket every day. Her daughter works for a well-known Irish supermarket and told her that the same people are coming in every day just to pick up one item and holding up the whole system. Alison believes that one visit to the shops a week should be enough. These people are going every day and are putting lives at risk. Have a listen to what Alison sent us on Facebook last night through facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. I really hope you can raise an important issue for me. It's about people going to supermarkets every day, popping in to buy one or two items, and non-essential items at that. My daughter works on the tills and she names the store, but it's kind of irrelevant to be honest, and says it's the same faces every day popping in to buy rubbish that they don't actually need and are holding up the queues. Why can't they just go like I do once a week? Do the whole week shopping in one go. When I went yesterday for the week shopping, the queue was 45 minutes just to get into the store. These idiots are putting lives at risk with their attitude of, I'll just pop into Dunn's for a packet of biscuits. Stay at home, because you're putting lives at risk. My daughter's life for one. Supermarkets should be for essentials. I'm sorry, but I am livid over this, and that's from Alison in Donamead. And a lot of you are annoyed with Alison, but a lot of you are finding this frustration as well. Nearly every supermarket the length and breadth of Dublin, when you get there is a queue. And the reason there's a queue is because the supermarkets are only letting a certain amount of people inside the door, and then you have to queue outside the door, socially distanced from the person in front of you in the queue. And that's all being well run at the moment, and I have to give credit to the supermarkets for the way in which they're doing it. However, Alison's issue is that a load of people in that queue are just going in for one thing, while other people who are doing a week's shopping have to stand in a queue for a half an hour. I'd like to hear from you on 6797981. We got this WhatsApp voice note in pretty much straight away.
Hi. Yeah, no, it would just be my opinion that a lot of people use this pandemic maybe to judge other people, and I just feel that that's rather unfair. I feel that, there are many reasons why people need to get out of the house, and, there's not a lot of places to go these days. Shopping is an essential, and I feel that people should be allowed to do it if that means doing a 100-item shop, or if it means doing a 3-item shop. That 3 items might be saving grace and keep a mother or father or an aunt or anybody at all. It might keep them sane for the next 24, 36 hours. And I just feel that there's far too much judging going on. That would be my opinion on that.
All right, thank you very much indeed. Melanie, you're on 98 FM. Hiya, Melanie.
Hi, Adrian, how are you?
Melanie, we all know that the queues at many supermarkets, well, depending on the time of day you go, are quite long. And you think that this woman is moaning for nothing?
Yeah, I do. I just feel that at the moment people are picking on every single little thing that other people are doing. And if somebody has to go to like Aldi or Lidl for bread and milk, maybe it's because it's affordable to them. Like the Spar Centres, all these, their prices are very high for a lot of people. Like to me, the closest shop to me is Aldi. And if I want to go for bread and milk, I'll go across the road and I'll go into Aldi and I'll queue. I don't know why people have such a big problem, why they're judging what people have in their trolleys, why... it's just gone crazy.
Okay, say for example, if I want to get bread and milk on the way home today, which I probably will, I will go into my local petrol station, which is near my house, and I'll get bread and milk in there. I won't get into a queue for 45 minutes or a half an hour at Dunn's or Lidl or whatever just to get bread and milk. I'll go to a petrol station on my way home. If more people did that, then the queues mightn't be as long.
I know what you're saying, and I myself will go around the corner to a local shop or to a petrol station because it's easy for me to do that. I'm a young person, I can go to any shop. But I'm talking about people who are older and that's their only shop, or they can only afford to go to these shops.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I have seen people judging. I've seen even shop assistants grunting and groaning when they see somebody getting up to the top of the queue and putting 3 things on the conveyor belt. But you have to go back to the start of the process of going to the supermarket. That is one extra person in that queue that can take a half an hour.
But if somebody's only going in for bread or milk, they're not going to take a half an hour. They're only going to be 5 minutes in the shop.
No, I know that, but they are adding to that queue to get into the shop in the first place.
Well, unfortunately, that's the times now that we have to queue for things, and we don't have a choice. We have to queue, and that's the way things are going to be for a long time. So I think if people stop moaning and just live with the times that we're in at the moment.
Okay, so you see nothing wrong. You see nothing wrong in somebody getting into a queue for any one of the supermarkets and going in and buying 3 items.
No.
Okay, stay there for 1 second, because Marion, you don't see a problem with this either.
Hi, Adrian. How are
Marion.
you?
Good, thank you, Marion. What do you want to say?
No, I have no problem. The reason being, I suffer very badly with depression. There are days I won't leave my flat. I won't even get dressed.
Right.
But the days I am good, I will put on my clothes, I will put on my makeup, and I will queue. Even if I don't want anything, I will just go in and get a pint of milk. Because that 45 minutes in a queue, 5 minutes in the supermarket, and a 10-minute walk home does me the world of good. Okay,
and that's fine. But the one thing that this lady Alison says is that she believes, and not necessarily you, but she believes that people are putting lives at risk by using the fact that we are allowed to go shopping as an excuse to go out.
I don't agree with that, because I have the Duns is right beside me. I have a Tesco's half a mile down the road. I also have a garage across the road. I did go into the garage the other night, and I felt very unsafe in there because there was 5 or 6 people, and we weren't doing the social distancing thing. So I found in the small confined place, I wasn't as safe as I was in a big supermarket.
Really? I don't know where it is, it doesn't really matter, but I have found that the 2 petrol stations, kind of spar shops near me, are very well organised, very well spaced.
Unfortunately, mine's not a spar, but also that they don't have the automatic doors.
Right.
You've got to push the door and then pull it when you're leaving. So I mean, I will not judge anybody, and I don't want anybody to judge me.
Is that what you see this as? This lady judging people?
Yes.
She's concerned, though, that her daughter's life is being put at risk by people just popping into Dunn's for a packet of biscuits.
And every time I go down to Dunn's, the staff there, they know me because I used to work in that particular Dunn's. They are delighted to see me. They're asking me how my day was, how is everybody in my family, and it's great to have a conversation because I see nobody else. My children live down the country. My son lives up the north of Ireland, so I don't see... My mum lives across the road from me, literally across the road, and I cannot see her. So that is my social outlet until whenever this
I know, but with all due respect, Marion, the rules allowing us to go shopping aren't for us to have a social outlet. It's for us to feed ourselves.
Not even... I need that. I will need that. Or otherwise, if I go into this deep depression again, I will end up trying to take my own life again, which I did before, and I will be taking up a hospital bed, which shouldn't be given to me because it was my fault that I did it. So I need that social outlet. I need it. I mean, I had a great conversation in the queue with a couple of the people. We were practicing social distancing, so there was no problem. I even minded her trolley when she went off somewhere else. They're the only people I can talk to. And if I don't get to talk to anyone, apart from your show, Adrian, there's my 2 hours in the morning.
In fact, just as a by the way, Marion, we're going to be having a conversation tomorrow on the programme, which we were planning to do today, but we're going to hold it till tomorrow. And that's going to be all about how people are coping and the sort of impact that it's having on people's mental health and so on. And listening to what you're saying, if you didn't get to the shop for even 10 minutes or 15 minutes in a queue, you would be suffering much more.
I would. I know for a fact I would be.
Okay, we may talk to you tomorrow on that conversation.
Yes,
all right, Marion.
No problem.
Good to talk to you. Thank you very much indeed. And it is a conversation that we are going to have tomorrow, because not everybody is coping overly well with this, and a lot of people are finding it very, very difficult. Aisling, I'm going to take your call straight after the break, if you can hang on there for a moment.
Yep.
Okay, let me just play this WhatsApp voice note from Adrian.
No, people wouldn't be able to organise themselves properly. They should be open every day. More so for the staff. One, so they have something to do, because being locked up at home is really hard. And two, so they keep their jobs.
Okay, we'll take a quick break and we're back in just a moment.
The sound of the city, from Sallynoggin to Swords. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.
And good morning from Adrian Kennedy. We're live from the studios of 98 FM in Dublin city centre. And one of the reasons I'm allowed out of my house and through guarded checkpoints is I am coming to work. And I'm very, very grateful, I have to say, that I'm still coming to work every day. Mind you, I had to pass through 3 checkpoints this morning to come into work. But anyhow, that's one of the reasons you're allowed out, if you're working in anything that is deemed essential work. But also, one of the reasons you're allowed out of your house is to go for a walk within 2 kilometres of your house. Another reason is to help an elderly relative. And one more reason is to do your shopping. And there are no guidelines, it's just to do essential shopping in the supermarket. Now, a litre of milk can be essential shopping, I suppose, but this lady, Alison in Donamead, is a little bit annoyed. She thinks that it's the same faces popping in every day to buy rubbish that they don't actually need, and they're holding up the queues. Why can't they just go once a week and do the whole week shopping in one go? She says, when I went yesterday for my week shopping, there was a 45-minute queue just to get into the store. And she also claims that people are putting lives at risk with their attitude. I'll just pop into Dunn's for a packet of biscuits. In Cyprus, which is where one of our listeners, Sue, listens to us regularly, things are a lot more strict. Sue, we have a lady complaining here about the fact that, you know, people are popping into a supermarket just to buy bread and milk. In Cyprus, it's a lot more strict than that.
Yeah, we have to, my husband, because he's a bit older than me, he has to fill out a form. I have to send a text, and then they give me permission to leave the marina. So the police are all over the place, so we get stopped. And unless you have this form or text message, they will fine you €300.
So you have to apply for permission to go to the shop?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And which sounds extraordinarily draconian, it has to be said, compared to here. And how often are you allowed to do that?
I think you can go out once a day.
Right, but you have to...
We don't take advantage of it because there's nowhere to go. Like this morning now, we went for our shopping this morning because it's Easter weekend this weekend here in Cyprus. So we're not too sure whether the shops are going to be closed tomorrow because it's Good Friday. Because this is the biggest celebration they have here in Cyprus.
Oh, it's Good Friday tomorrow in Cyprus?
Yes, yeah.
Is it? That was Good Friday a week ago here. That's strange.
Well, I know. I got 2 Easter eggs.
All right, so it's the Orthodox Easter weekend, is it?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay. So for you to go out this morning to do your shopping, you had to get a text message giving you consent, and then you have to show that text message to get past the police. Is that right?
Yes, that's right, yeah.
So you have to have that permission in advance?
Yes.
Wow.
And then we have to go after 10 o'clock because we can both go into the supermarket. If if my husband and myself go before 10 o'clock, I'm not allowed in because I'm younger than him.
Oh, right. So it's very, very strict.
Yes, it really is. I've never seen so many police in my life.
Now, I have to say we've a lot of police around here, not to that intensity by the sounds of it, although I did pass through 3 guarded checkpoints on my way to work today, but on other days I've passed through maybe 1. But the point being that you don't go for unnecessary shopping is basically the point.
No, we don't. No, we don't. We'll do without.
Yeah.
And then, again, we have a curfew at 9 o'clock at night.
Sorry, say that again, Sue?
We have a curfew. No, we're not allowed out after 9
at night. Yeah. All right. How are you keeping otherwise?
Oh, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm grand. It's lovely weather here. That's probably what's keeping us going.
Yeah.
It's about 23 degrees.
You know, touch wood and all that. We've had lots of nice weather here as well. Not 23 degrees, but still, it's been pleasant enough. All right, so stay safe and thanks for taking our call.
Thank you.
Helen, you're on 98 FM. How are you, Helen?
I'm great. How are you?
Now, obviously, none of us wants to get to the stage that you have to get a text message giving you consent to go and do your shopping.
Indeed.
But that's what it's like in other countries.
So it would appear. I think, that we need to step back a little and reflect maybe on why anyone would spend 45 minutes in a supermarket queue to buy a bottle of milk. And in that reflection, we might think that for many people, the only social interaction they may have is when a cashier in a supermarket says cash or card. We have a major problems with mental health. We can't forget that there are other illnesses.
Absolutely.
And there are syndromes, even though we have at the minute a pandemic. So I think that perhaps the people who are complaining, maybe they have ultra busy lives, I don't know, perhaps they're somehow working or whatever, but perhaps when we stand in the supermarket queue, if we turn our head behind us and say good morning, or perhaps to the people good morning,
sorry, I'm losing you there, Helen, sorry about that. Aisling, you're on 98 FM. Hi, Aisling.
Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Now, obviously, none of us would be able to cope with having to get text message consent from the Gardaí in order to go and do some shopping.
God, definitely not.
Like they have in Cyprus. I mean, that sounds unbelievable.
Yeah.
It has to be said.
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to cope with that at all.
No, I don't think we would.
Cope with being told to stay in.
But are some people taking the mick of, geez, I'm bored now, I think I'll go shopping?
I don't know, Adrian. I don't know whether people are getting out of hand, whether it's all getting out of hand, whether people are just looking for something to row over, something to gripe over. I mean, something like it's just so hard to know. I mean, I was sitting yesterday waiting for a prescription in the chemist, local chemist. And we were sitting in the car, we had to wait for nearly 20 minutes. And we were watching everyone going into our local shop. Mm-hmm. And most people were going in the local shop for a cup of coffee. I mean, it was a lovely day. Most people only came out with coffee or a sandwich or a roll. But you don't know what
that's okay if it's a local shop. And in fact, somebody just sent me a message a second ago saying I was turned back by the Gardaí when I was going shopping, and I was told to use a smaller shop closer to my home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been to our local Tesco's and everything, and I haven't queued more than 10 minutes outside. And to me, I think you queue in the supermarket anyway. When you get to the counter, there's normally a big queue anyway to do your shopping without any restrictions like before, pre-pandemic times. And I find now when you go into Tesco's, you nearly forget what you want because you're afraid to look at people. They're not looking at you. You're afraid to smile. You're afraid to laugh. I was on last week. I said the same thing. People run from each other. So you're more inclined to forget your bits and have to go back to the shop to buy something small because you're running around.
Well, one of the things that I heard advised the other day was if you're going shopping, bring a list with you so you know exactly what you're looking for and you're not just browsing around the shop aimlessly.
So you can't help browse either, especially if it's a Tesco and there's different things. I know, there's just so much.
You think people are being far too judgmental?
I think they're very judgmental. I think people are just looking for rows. I mean, aren't they lucky they're not queuing in an A&E for 8 to 10 hours?
Absolutely,
quickly, which most of us have done before anyway. I mean, we're queuing to get into the shops to get food. Aren't we lucky we can get food? Aren't we lucky? I know I just think people are it's gone beyond it now. You don't know what's right for doing wrong. You don't know.
I know, but you'd hate to get to a situation like they are in Cyprus where you have to get a text message from An Garda Síochána.
Yeah, and I mean, that would kill the Irish altogether because we really don't like being told what to do.
No, we don't. We don't. All right, Aisling, thanks very much indeed. Paul sent me this WhatsApp voice note.
Hey, Germany. I was in Dunstores on Tuesday, and I was surprised when I was queuing up to go into the supermarket that people were actually browsing and doing their clothes shopping. I thought that was supposed to be closed.
Yeah, I think those sections not closed, no? I think so. No, I think in the supermarkets they're only allowed to sell essential items in those sections. Tom sent me this.
Do you not think that those people that want to get out, they just might want to get out and interact or something, just to get out the gaff?
And that's what a lot of people are doing. And this message is from Sinead.
Adrian, I think it's also important to remember, during this pandemic, not everybody is financially in a position to do a week shop. Some people shop by day because it's, all they can afford. And then, some people don't see people from one day to the next, so they choose to go out every day and get little bits every day. So, I think, who cares whether you're going into Tesco's to do a week shop or whether you're going in for one item? What's the big deal? We're all in this together. Everyone's in the same boat. Everyone's in the same position. So, the judgment needs to stop. My God, there's enough, negativity going around with this pandemic without people judging you for going into a supermarket to buy, a pound of flour as opposed to, €140 a week shop. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but Alison and Donamead, her argument is that people are putting lives at risk with their attitude of, I'll just pop to the shops for a packet of biscuits. Stay at home, you are putting lives at risk, is what she's saying. That going to the supermarket is meant to be for essential items. Where am I going? Sorry, I've lost track of which WhatsApps I've played. This lady is very annoyed with Alison.
Ask Alison when she goes shopping once a week, does she buy 7 of everything, like 7 litres of milk, 7 pans of bread? Then you're accused of stocking up.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Barbara, you're on 98 FM. Hiya, Barbara.
How are you, Adrian?
Now, what did you want to say on this?
I just wanted to say that woman that's talking about seeing the same faces in the supermarket every day.
Yeah.
She doesn't work in the supermarket.
Her daughter does. Her daughter does.
So her daughter is obviously relaying the messages back to the mother that she sees the same face.
Well, here's what she said. My daughter works on the tills in such and such a store, and she told us the exact store that she works in, and says it's the same faces every day popping in just to buy rubbish that they don't need that are holding up the queues.
Well, I don't think it's a time to be that judgmental, Adrian. Like that other lady was saying, that's her get out every day, and if she couldn't get out to do that, God knows where she'd end up. It's not right for people to be judging if they see people every day. So what if you want to go out to get a bit of fresh air and go into the supermarket on your way back to get a bottle of milk?
Okay, so you see, the point was made in countries like Spain and France and everything else, you have to keep your receipts, and there have been examples of the police actually going through your bags to see that you bought essential items.
But it's probably essential to that woman to get out for her mental health and just to drop in. That's why we've been allowed to go for our walks within our 2 kilometres of our house for our mental health. I understand that, but the supermarkets have this thing in place that you keep your distance. You're not on top of people. You're only going in. If it is only to see a couple of faces, that's very important to people at this time.
All right. Thank you very much indeed. Baz says, some people are starting to get a little bit loose with the restrictions.
Sorry I can't come on there at the moment. I'm out doing my driving lorry, and I'm out today before, say, in 3 weeks. And all I can say is unbelievable. The amount of cars, vans, cars just one passenger a day. The amount of traffic on the road this morning is just like a normal day. People are just starting to get loose on the whole restrictions. I don't know what's going to happen.
All right. Well, you've a very high probability that you'll come across a guarded checkpoint. As I said, I passed 3 this morning coming to work. Felix lives in Berlin and wants to tell us what's happening there.
Hey, Adrian, it's Felix here from Berlin. I used to live in Ireland for 7 years, and I just heard the topic you're talking about at the moment, and I just want a quick comment on this. I'm a bit annoyed with the lady giving you that message via Facebook, as people are way too crazy about the whole thing. It is serious 100%, but we also have to face reality. There is no curement for this, not for the next year. People have to go after their business, have to go outside, do whatever they please. It can't be, you can't be always staying inside. The person who just goes there once a day, buying biscuits, whatever, maybe just has to get away from their home, just to go outside a bit. And to be honest, people whose lives are in danger shouldn't be in these shops in the first place, queuing, whatever. You're gonna send healthy people there. That's what we do in Germany. People go outside only if they be fit. And fact is, this thing is not gonna be over for a long time, so people have to get their act together and try to act normal. Don't judge everybody for whatever they do, and do whatever you think is good, and that's the way it is. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Felix. And finally, Sarah, you think that somebody like Alison is just whinging?
Well, I'd go to my local Aldi and go do my main shop and stuff. But some people have to go again, the next day or something, to their local shops and stuff for the necessities. Now, people going in and just buying a packet of crisps and stuff, I think that's a bit unreasonable. But if you're going in to buy the likes of bread and milk and stuff that you'll be using quite daily, it is an essential item.
All right, and a lot of people are using, by all accounts, the fact that we're allowed to go shopping as an excuse to get out and go and buy a couple of items in the shop. Just one or two more messages. This is from Nicole. Here we go.
The clothes shop.
Sorry.
The clothes shops are open in Dunnes Stores and Tesco. You can still go in and buy your clothes.
The whole of the drapery department? I don't think so. Certainly not in the one that's near our office here. The whole drapery department isn't open. And finally, JD.
Adrian, how are you doing? JD here. I know a girl that goes to the shops every day, and she goes one day for her mother, the second day for her neighbour, third day maybe for herself, fourth day for another neighbour. She's helping everybody out, and she's in Dunnes every day. And she has to do that because she's helping out people. So maybe that woman is looking at people, that same person all the time, but that same person is doing it for a reason. That's it. Thanks, Adrian.
Well, no, she did say in her message that some people are going in and buying one packet of biscuits and heading off. Anyway, all right, thank you very much indeed for all of your calls. And that's it from us for today. We're out of time. We're back again tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. and we'll have all the usual Friday features. We'll have our Good News Friday. We'll have our quiz and lots more. And by the way, if there's anything that you would like to bring up on the programme tomorrow, send us an email to dublintalks@98fm.com. dublintalks@98fm.com. Send a private message through our Facebook page, facebook.com/Adrian K and Jeremy D. And I did mention earlier on that one of the things we're going to be talking about is the impact that this whole lockdown is having on certain people's mental health. And you heard from that lady Marion that she has to get out to the shop just for her mental health. We're going to be talking about that tomorrow morning on the programme. And if you are affected by that, send us an email, dublintalks@98fm.com. Have a good Thursday. I'll talk to you tomorrow morning at 10. Barry Dunn is next with some great music lined up in the next hour, like these.
Sound of the city, from Stony Batter to Stepaside. Dublin Talks. 98 FM's Dublin Talks.